Why is it that it seems that the relationships that hurt us the most are often the center of our thoughts? Hi, everyone. I'm your host, Dr. Shafer of Talks with Dr. Shafer. I'm so glad you're here. I'm a physician, mom, life coach, musician, author, publisher, and I am passionate about using storytelling as a tool to help you reclaim your story and build your most beautiful future. Here on Talks with Dr. Shafer, every Tuesday, I have guests come on the show who share their inspiring stories of how they reclaimed their lives and are living and building the most beautiful future possible for themselves. And we are all benefiting from the wonderful things they are doing in the world. And every Thursday, I have short talks like this one, where I help you with mastering your mindset from a neuroscience informed perspective so that you can reclaim your story and build your most beautiful future. Today, I want to talk about decentering the toxic people in your life. I've been hearing a lot about decentering lately. And what occurred to me was that instead of going through each type of situation or person or relationship that we should consider decentering, that it would be simplest often to focus on simply decentering the toxic people in our lives. We all have them in our life, at work, in our families, and sometimes in our closest relationships. By the time we realize that these relationships are toxic, we may have become meticulously wound up with these people. Why is it that it seems that the relationships that hurt us the most are often the center of our thoughts? The thing that causes us the most pain, the relationships that we ruminate the most about. Why is that? In part, it is by design. You see, when you invest in something, you become invested in its success. You helped to build this relationship. But also, when something is causing you pain, you may naturally focus on it more and try to fix it. Because when something hurts, our biological imperative is to stop the pain. And unfortunately, many of us have been trained to fix what we think is causing us pain, or at least try to, instead of actually doing what we probably would have been more likely to do back in the earlier stages of human life, to simply get away from what is hurting us. The person who is toxic didn't show up to your relationship doing all of the interpersonal work. You've been trained to do it. They weren't bending themselves into pretzels to gain your attention and admiration. They were giving you just enough attention and a mixture of acceptance and dissonance or disconnection to get you hooked and bent on proving to them that this relationship and you really are something. I know that may sound harsh. It's not your fault. Often, when we find we have a habit of getting into toxic relationships, we're seeking out familiar patterns, often from our early life relationships. We didn't decide that this was our set point relationship. We didn't decide that this sounded like fun. We simply learned early on how to play this role. And so when the opportunity presents itself again in the form of a new yet familiar relationship, until we've become really intentional about understanding our habits, our patterns, and the ways that we are self-sabotaging, we will continue to repeat these destructive cycles. So once again, we felt a sense of familiarity that cued our nervous system that this feels right, like home, familiar. And so when we felt the awkward, anxious sensation of disconnection from this toxic person, when over time we realized or sensed that we were working really hard to try to please them, yet no matter what we did, it never seemed to be enough, well, even that dissonance rang true due to our early life conditioning. We're used to not being able to do enough, we may think. That feeling of not enoughness may resonate with a limiting belief we have about ourselves, formed years ago when a primary person in our life made us feel exactly that way. In this moment of self-doubt, as painful as it may be, until we've done the work to focus on who we truly are and release those limiting beliefs and behaviors that keep us catering to people who have no interest in us succeeding and are only interested in maintaining this imbalanced power dynamic, them on top, us beneath. In that moment, if we're unhealed, we will lean outward to try to finally convince them to fix things, to do things right. If only I insert the next great thing I'm going to do to prove to this person that I'm worthy of their admiration, that I'm enough. Maybe if I get a scholarship, they'll think I'm smart, worthy, not a waste of their time and effort. If I become a doctor, and then I'll have really succeeded, and maybe they'll finally love me. Maybe they won't treat me like the dumb kid in front of the rest of the family. If I'm an awesome mom and I make every dinner from scratch and keep a house that looks like it is out of an issue of Better Homes and Gardens magazine, maybe my spouse will finally respect what I do for the family and not look at me with such contempt. This centering of toxic people who do not have the same goals as you and are invested in seeing you in the exact role that you are trying to prove to them that you don't fit in. This is like being on a hamster wheel, running, running, running until we are sweaty, breathless, exhausted, and no further towards our goal than when we started. We aren't meant to succeed. Someone who profits or benefits from you being subservient to them will not willingly or lovingly pave the way for you to stand beside them or even surpass them, no matter what you accomplish. The only way to see the value in what you are doing every day is to de-center everyone else and focus on your perception. Are you proud of what you are doing? Why are you doing these things? Do they fill you with joy? Do they further your cause? Do they bring you closer to your goals? Sometimes when we stop and de-center others, we realize that in our quest to please them, we were using all of our time and energy on efforts that not only weren't in line with our goals, our values, or what we want for our lives. Often those efforts we've been making have been in direct contradiction with who we are and what we want. We may have worked so hard to achieve career goals or other accomplishments or skills, and then let these skills or opportunities go in the name of supporting someone else. And when that someone else isn't supporting us, it becomes clear that we have been breaking down our own castle that we worked so hard to build and building up walls, isolating ourselves from the world and from our own potential. We can take back all of that time and energy and invest it in ways that make our lives better and that make the world a better place for the people we care about and the people who care about us and are truly invested in our success and happiness. Now, that will not make the toxic people in our lives happy. That does not serve their interests. And they are likely going to have some painful ways to try to get you back into line, using your energy for their good, not yours. But here's the thing. We have to do it anyway. It will never be in a toxic person's best interest for you to decenter them. So stop asking for their permission. You won't get it. And you never need to apologize or ask permission to be the center of your own life. You were always supposed to be. I hope this gives you a jump start into the process of thinking about where is the center in your life. And if it is toxic people who are destabilizing your life and demanding to be the central part of your life, bit by bit, taking your life from you, Think about the steps you need to take to master your mindset so that you can decenter those individuals and try centering around your values and beliefs and goals for your life unapologetically. I hope this episode has been helpful for you. Thank you so much for joining me on this short talk on Talks with Dr. Shafer. I hope you will also subscribe to the show and join me for inspiring guest episodes that we have coming up, as well as more short talks where we work on mastering your mindset, taking back control over your own nervous system, and writing your own story. Thank you so much for being here. Until next time, stay safe and take care. I'll talk to you soon.
Everybody's lonely, but you can hold on to me, and I will try to make it right. Everyone needs something. Let me be that